Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Political commentator reacts to Prime Minister's budget presentation. More concerns about repeated use of states of emergency. And later in sports, Jamaica Scorpions' batting struggles continue. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here are the details. The home of former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Grace McLean, was raided this morning by the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOCA. The search and seizure operations are related to alleged financial impropriety involving the Ministry of Education and the Joint Committee on Tertiary Education. The operations were conducted at 9 locations, 5 in Kingston and St. Andrew, 3 in St. James, and 1 in Westmoreland. No arrests were made. However, several devices and documents linked to the investigation were seized. Reactions this afternoon to Prime Minister Andrew Holness's budget presentation on Thursday in Parliament. One political commentator believes while it was an overall solid presentation, one critical area was missing. The details in this report.
Despite a number of increases and benefits for Jamaicans, one political analyst believes that Prime Minister Andrew Holness's budget presentation failed to highlight how the governance deficit in the country will be addressed. Speaking on the morning agenda on Friday, political commentator Lloyd B. Smith said with corruption rife in the society, especially with major infrastructure projects, the Prime Minister should have outlined some policy directives as well.
The governance issues were not, to me, sufficiently explored, and in the very final analysis, what I saw was Mr. Holness, the politician, ensuring that he keeps his popularity, that he's able to maintain some level of acceptance by especially those at the lower economic stratum of the society, in order to pivot himself and his party.
That comment from Mr. Smith follows a poll which showed the two major political parties in a statistical dead heat. The PNP commissioned public opinion poll was conducted between February 17 and 26 by the Don Addison-led Market Research Services. It revealed that 28.1% of respondents said they'd vote for the PNP compared to 27.9% for the JLP. Now, that's a stark contrast to the RGR Gleaner Communications Group's poll in July 2021, which showed that the JLP was leading by 13%. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
The Cornwall Bar Association is this afternoon raising concern about the repeated use of states of emergency as a measure to deal with the rate of crime across the country. President of the association, Michael Hemming, says some of the long-standing issues that the association had with the SOE still remain.
Our concern is that the measures that are to be in place to ensure that the citizens' rights are safeguarded, we wish to see them. I have not seen the regulations, but I assume that the regulations that were used in the last state of emergency are the regulations that will be used now. If it's going to be continuing beyond 14 days, if it gets the support of the opposition, we would like to know where it is that the tribunal will be held if persons are detained, so that we can file our objections. Those are the concerns that we have been having over the numerous state of emergencies being declared.
The parliamentary opposition said it would be taking the government to court over the constitutionality of the repeated use of the measure. When asked if he will join the cause, the Cornwall Bar Association president provided this response.
Any measure that is in place that affects the rights of citizens or the measures are unconstitutional, we will be supporting anyone who is going to defend the rights of the citizens. As you are aware, there's a matter that we brought before the court, and the court had made certain ruling as it relates to the unconstitutionality of certain aspects of the state of emergency. That decision is being appealed, and it is my view that the government using the state of emergency as they are doing it now.
Mr. Hemmings, in the meantime, is calling on the Andrew Holness-led government to find alternative measures to deal with the country's crime problem. Residents of Scarlett Hall in Runaway Bay, St. Anne are up in arms with the St. Anne Municipal Corporation. They point to the road leading to the community, which is in a deplorable state. The details in this report. After years of complaining, residents of Scarlett Hall in Runaway Bay, St. Anne have taken up the daunting task of fixing the road themselves. The temporary repairs a mere drop in the bucket for the work that really needs to be done.
We're waiting on the government to fix this road. He's not fixing it. So what we got to do, we get some money together. We get some mall, we get rollers, and we get manpower. And we do all of this here work. We spend thousands of dollars to do all of this work here. After we finished, we went and see the mayor. He came and he was impressed. So he said, okay, he said, what are you going to do? You're going to send somebody to measure up the road, and he's going to cover the road for us. We waited, nothing. We went back down there to saw the mayor. No, he didn't show up. We called, they stopped answering the phone.
A lot of returning residents around here, seniors have worked hard overseas and come back to their homeland, and this is the condition that they come back to.
They surmise that it's been more than 5 years of begging for something to be done.
Every single person that lives here pay their property tax. They don't owe anything, and we pay the tax. Our tax is different from the people of Beverly and the people of Hampstead. They say this is residential area, and so many people who live around there are returning residents, so we to fix the road. It is a national disgrace.
Mayor of St. Anne's Bay, Sidney Stewart, says he visited the area and is promising the matter will be addressed.
After I asked the technical team to go and do an estimate so that we will be able to give them a much better surface. It is my view and my consideration to ensure that we can give them an asphalted surface. We wanted it was to be done before we start getting some rainfall. And so the superintendent department is now putting together an estimate to ensure that we can determine how we are going to generate that fund to give them a surface. If we can't do all of it at one time, I'm certain sure that we will be able to do half of it or a portion that I'm sure they will appreciate until we are able to do the second portion.
The mayor, however, did not give a timeline. Police Constable Ransford Wisdom was on Thursday acquitted of murder by a 7-member jury in the St. Anne Circuit Court, 13 years after he was charged. He was accused of fatally shooting a man during an attack on August 18, 2010 in Pear Tree Bottom. According to reports, the couple left and went to purchase food. When the vehicle developed mechanical problems while awaiting assistance, he was attacked. His attorney, Oswald Smith, believes the case should not have gone to trial.
I pointed out in legal submissions to the court that there absolutely was no evidence, particularly because the prosecution had absolutely not one witness who was able to attest to what transpired that night. Everything that came in terms of what unfolded came on the evidence of the accused man, and in those circumstances I thought that the matter ought not to have gone on.
At least one councillor in St. Catherine is concerned about the path benefit for students in the parish. It comes as the government allocated some $16.1 billion for path beneficiaries in the 2023-2024 budget. Kelisha Williams reports.
Speaking at the latest meeting of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, Councillor for the Waterford Division, Fenley Douglas, said he believes there's a link between poor nutrition and violence in schools, and he thinks the path allocation for students is a part of the problem.
Currently, Chairman, students on path in the primary school, grade 1 to 3, it's $120 per day. They're allotted for a meal. Chairman, grade 4 to 6 is $150. And if we segue over to the high school, path students are given $150 for 3 days for the week.
Just last week, the government announced that $16.1 billion has been allocated for PATH beneficiaries in the 2023-24 budget. But Mr. Douglas told the municipal corporation that it is not enough.
A basic patty is for $300. And from that $150 or $120, the schools, apart from trying to cook the food, have to buy the knife, the spoon, and the plates and stuff to prepare this.
And on top of that, he said more burden is placed on teachers and parents.
Your child in school now, as a poor parent, you have cap day, bag day, jeans day, sneakers day. You have so many different days. Sweetie day, ice cream day, because school teachers and principals are trying to make enough money so they can run a tuck shop for these PATH students.
Kelisha Williams, TVJ News.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
The Consumer Affairs Commission, CAC, has secured over $36 million in refunds and compensation for aggrieved consumers from April 2022 to this year. Chief Executive Officer of the CAC, Dulcie Allen, says the Commission has handled 1,268 complaints, of which 882 have been resolved. The categories that accounted for the highest percentage of complaints were electrical equipment and appliances, other services, and utilities. The top categories for refund and compensation were motor vehicle and motor vehicle parts, with $16 million secured, other services with $6.3 million recouped, and electrical equipment and appliances with $4.9 million secured for consumers. Further afield, the European Central Bank, ECB, on Thursday hiked interest rates by 0.5 percentage point, judging that inflation poses a bigger immediate threat to the economy than turmoil in the banking sector. The move takes the benchmark rate across the 20 countries that use the euro to 3%. The central bank has now hiked rates at 6 consecutive meetings since July in a bid to get inflation under control. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Shane Masters.
It's now time for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, Bermuda police and customs officers have arrested 4 people and seized close to $2 million in the latest major drug bust. According to reports, a police team, along with the Financial Crime Unit and the Tactical Division, carried out a joint operation at homes and businesses in the parishes of Hamilton, Devonshire, and Pembroke. A container of suspected cannabis being processed for shipping was found. The cannabis is said to have a street value of $1.9 million. On the international scene, China President Xi Jinping is set to travel to Moscow next week to hold talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. In a statement from the Kremlin, the discussions will be centered around a comprehensive relationship and strategic cooperation. The visit comes as Beijing, an ally of Russia, has offered proposals to end the war in Ukraine, to which the West has given a lukewarm reception. Western countries have warned Beijing against supplying Moscow with weapons. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Simpson.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report with Jordan Ford.